Okay, we will go ahead and get started. We are waiting for other people that did sign up, but this will be recorded, which you'll get a copy of tomorrow for signing up. So we'll go ahead and start now. Thank you for those who are here. We're very excited for this webinar on Antero Mobile. The product is now live and being used. Certainly it is something that people have talked to us about for a long time. We have worked on for a long time, and we're excited it's here. We will, continuing to take feedback and improve the product as things go along. But for right now, I'm going to show you kind of how the process, like an overview of the process, and then I will get into a live demo database showing you both the desktop version and Antero Mobile. So yeah, it's currently being used by AllMax clients. So I think what's really exciting about this product is the fact that we have so much room for growth, and customers are going to use it different ways. And so first, let's get into the reasons kind of why we feel like this product is going to be really beneficial for our current customers. So when we talk about, the reasons that people are looking at Antero Mobile, first of all, as far as kind of the work order aspect of things, which is a big use of Antero, you're going to get real-time data access. It's going to be live on the cloud, and as you sync work orders, you're going to be able to see those work orders in the cloud and then get them back to your desktop database from there. Secondly, we're going to help with the task management aspect of things. So being able to, for a technician or an operator to be in the field, look at their tablet and view those current instructions. You can have YouTube videos and those links and other kind of more active ways to manage those tasks that are being done in the field. And then thirdly, certainly it's going to help save time and money. A quick note here is that Antero Mobile right now is only available to customers using the latest version of Antero. So I know some of you, not to mention names, it might be an earlier version, which is completely fine. But one thing that we would need for Antero Mobile to work is to call our support team and get in touch with them, and they can update you to the latest version of Antero, which is version 7. And once we do that, then that would allow us to set up Antero Mobile moving from there. So you can go to our website, allmaxsoftware.com. We've got a web link in the corner for getting support. There's a phone number to call as well, where you get a live person, working for AllMax Software. In general, we respond usually within about 6 to 20 minutes. So it's a very fast response time. I know a lot of you have used our services before, and that. And that's kind of the first step there. So we also have a customer portal, which is pretty recent, that some of you may not know about, that you can also sign up for on that Get Support site. That gives you access to knowledge-based articles, different video resources within AllMax, as well as a way to see other support tickets within your organization. So, maybe you're the primary person handling that relationship. We would encourage anyone who needs help with any AllMax products to use the support that you are paying for. And with that, the ability to kind of see what your history and support is, any other open tickets, is really beneficial and valuable. So again, that's just through the Get Support page up in the corner. So back to Antero Mobile, one thing that we really try and think about is looking about how customers are managing their process now. And we know that a lot of customers are, certainly, printing out the work orders. Maybe it's at the beginning of the week. You're printing out all of the work orders that you have queued up going on. Maybe it's beginning of the day. You have a meeting and you kind of print out the work orders and kind of assign them to the different technicians or operators that are working. At that point, you assign them, you give them to your technician to kind of review what is going to happen for the day. They've got their, stack of work orders to go out. They go out, do the work. They record it in, I'm sure the best handwriting possible. and do everything that they can on those pieces of paper, and then they come back. Maybe they drop it on your table or somebody else or their own. And at the end of the day, they're recording those current work orders. Um, Maybe a supervisor or manager is reviewing the work orders, maybe not, just to make sure that you've got the hours on any parts, that the notes are clear, everything happens. And then those work orders get entered into Antero. Currently we do have the kind of two-step review process with both move to review or move straight to history, which you can set up by different user permissions. And so at that point, the work orders go in and they are done. So there are several steps in this process that could be replaced or supplemented by Antero Mobile. So in this situation, you can just figure out what work orders you want to go to the cloud. The technicians can grab them, and then they fill them out in the field, and then they sync them. You can sync them back into the main database. So we estimate that if the average work order is a couple pages, and you're having to print these out maybe multiple times potentially, as well as the cost of the time. We estimate if you're talking about an hour a day of kind of doing the manual data entry piece, that's 20 hours a month. And the cost savings with the price of ink and paper can add up pretty quickly as well. And so, as in addition to being a, much ease of use, attracting new talent with and keeping people who are very using their phones and tablets all the time and used to that and wanting that in a workplace, there is a very true cost estimation as well. So hopefully that sounds pretty familiar. And so we again think that what we can help you with is going to be really valuable from a time and money standpoint. So as far as how does it work, right? So we've kind of talked about the basics here. So I'm going to go into the software live, both the desktop version and Antero Mobile. But what we'll really show you there is in the desktop version, you will notice a few slight updates to both our logo as well as our color scheme. And with that comes a few operational changes as well. So essentially, there's a piece in the work management section where you can click on the work orders that you want to upload to the cloud in Antero Mobile. And a reminder, we are hosting the cloud there. And our eventual goal is to have a fully hosted cloud version of Antero. And this is kind of that first step. But we also are fully supported, of course, to the desktop locally hosted version of Antero as well. And so once you choose what you want to upload from your desktop database, that will then sync into the cloud. You do all the work on the work orders there, and then you can sync them back into Antero on the desktop. And so you're going to have everything that you would have normally. So on the we have a couple different views within the Antero Mobile. There is a list view, as well as a card view, which is really the standard view, which you can kind of see here. This helps with the mobile aspect, of course, keeping things simple and easy, which we know is a key feature of what you want out of this. And it's aspects that everyone loves currently about Antero. IT stays happy because there's no app to download. It's just managed through a web URL. So we got really creative. It's just anteromobile.allmaxsoftware.com. So you can go to that and you'll get a username and login to access it. So we don't care if it's an Android or an Apple phone or tablet. It's all going to work here. It's through that web portal that you can set up with individual usernames for the different users. You can also create new work orders from Antero Mobile. And of course, you can open up other work orders and assign those work orders. But the key here really is that everything that you have work order wise functionality is in Antero Mobile with that ease of use. So you can see here, I've got the work order details. I can update my instruments. I can add labor hours. I can add parts. It's all here through Antero Mobile. And it's a really important piece. Of course, you can also have third-party suppliers and enter any invoice information that you might there to keep that ease of use. Now, what we added in the desktop version of Antero is that there's a way to sync those current work orders that you want to check out. And so, I'll show you again in real life in a minute, but you can kind of see here on the picture too. When I sync those work orders, they have a gray synced status, and that lets you know that those are being worked on in Antero Mobile, so you can't make double changes of what's happening in the desktop version. And then you can also, as those come back into the desktop, you can choose your own workflow of how you want those to be managed. So maybe you want to have a separate status for what those work orders look like. Maybe you want all synced work orders to go into the history or the review tab or straight to history. And depending on what the current user permissions are, that can also help with that. If they don't have move to history permission, then they won't have be able to do that with Antero Mobile either. And so we can kind of help create that custom workflow that you'd like to see. So that's the basic overview, kind of before I get into the actual software for a live look. But I do think it's important to kind of see, understand what that's looking like. Because I know sometimes when you start throwing pure software, it can get a little confusing if you're not used to it. Again, especially if you're not currently in version 7. But I will go ahead and take you into the software now. So I'm going to take over here. Okay, so I have now opened up Antero, the latest version here in version 7. And you will notice again our new Antero logo in the corner, as well as some color changes we made to kind of freshen up the look and feel. And that new logo really replaces the previous file menu. So I can press this now and I have access to all the previous info that was part of the menu. And a couple things while we're in this spot right here, I can go to my database admin and database options. And this is where I was talking about I can change what that mobile download behavior looks like. So right now my default is set to move to review. I can also move these straight to history, or I can set to a particular work status. And this lets me know how I want to set those ones that come back from the mobile space. But I'm going to go ahead and keep this in review right now. And I can also mark if I want the notes to be mandatory or not. Another piece here I can do is I can upload my data to Antero Mobile, so as equipment and parts. And this really helps with the creating new work order aspect of things. So it will upload a copy of the current equipment information and parts information, users to Antero Mobile, and that will allow me then to create new work orders and have access to that piece of my database. Excuse me. Moving out of the database administration side, when I go to my work management section here, you will notice that I have a new menu item here, this sync work order button. And so there's 3 options on here. Once I start picking a few work orders that I want to upload to the cloud, I will then pick the upload selected button. And like I mentioned, they will show that they are currently being synced in Antero Mobile, and they will move out of, kind of grayed out of this area. When I come back, again, kind of the end of the day, the work order has been marked as ready to be synced, which I'll show you. And then I would come back here and I have 2 options. I can download ready, which will upload all those work orders back into the database or download them, or I can revert selected. So if there is something where, we just didn't get to the work orders that were there, then I can hit the revert selected button and they won't come back into my database. But I think what we will do here is we're going to pick a couple work orders. And I'm going to go with this one and this one. And I am going to sync my work orders. And then next, I'm going to go into my website here. So I'm at Antero Mobile, allmaxsoftware.com. I've got a couple work orders in here now. I'm going to refresh that. Now I've added these ones here. So got a couple work orders that I've just uploaded. And as I mentioned before, I do have a list view here where I see these work orders. And then again, I've got my standard card view showing here. Now, one thing that is nice about this is that, um, this view looks really nice depending on the tablet or whatever that you're using. So this shows what it looks like in a tablet. This would be an iPhone. You kind of see that very clean fit, based on what I am using. And so we don't, again, really care what kind of device you're using. It's going to be able to get fit here and look the way that we want it to. When I am ready to look at a work order, I'm going to click the open button, and same thing here. This can look really nice on a tablet or on a phone. Just lays everything out, very straightforward, keeping it easy, keeping it clean, keeping it simple for this view. And again, I see all the same information that I would see in a normal desktop Antero work order, all on the top, but now I see it here. So I've got my work order number. I can choose here to show the instructions that might be in that work order or not. And again, that really goes back to, again, keeping this information clean, because we know you are viewing it now on a smaller screen. And so you might need to glance at this and check it out, or you might not, especially once you have completed the work order. Now you're kind of filling out the details. So I can easily assign a user here to add them here. And then as I go through the information, so if I had any instrument panels, I could update meter reads here. I could go to my labor and add some labor hours. So let's go ahead and do that. So it's a operations, and it's me doing the work here. So I've got 2 hours there. So I've added a couple hours there. I can look at my parts, and I can add, different pieces that I'm using for this job. And same thing if I wanted to keep track of a third-party supplier at this point, or had anything else that I wanted to add, I would add them all through here. I would, check my work order details, make sure I had everything I needed to do. And at that point, I might be ready to complete the work order. So I put my time in. I'm going to note when I completed the work order, who did the work order, and any notes that I might have. I will then hit the Ready to Sync button and hit Save on here. And so here now you see these work orders that I started, and I've got the completed work order. Another little thing we've added in here already is this shows some other work orders, and you can see that they are grayed out once they have been completed there. And so next we have kind of completed this point now, and now we want to go into the desktop version. Lets me know I completed it. So as I go here, I now want to bring that work order back. So I'm going to go, I don't need this checked necessarily. I'm going to download the work order. Okay, this tells me it is work order 12. It's now moving it to review. And I have now downloaded that work order. Work order 12 is no longer synced. The other one still is 1605. And then I'm going to go to my work order review section. and I see work order 12, which I just completed. If I would like, I can now move this one to history. Once I reviewed the information, it looks good. It was easy. And we are all done now. And so now work order 12 is no longer in this work order status. And I've just got a couple other ones that I have recently uploaded to work on in the future. So it's a pretty straightforward process. We are working on future, enhancements to the program as far as being able to add equipment or inventory and parts in the future from the Antero mobile app. We also do have a version where we are going to take something similar like this and put it on our Operator 10 product, where you'd be kind of maybe grabbing different LPs and able to do that from the field as well. As far as pricing goes, so this is with the web portal, it really is for the individual users. So we do charge a small fee for each individual username that is created. And so if you have questions on that, you can reach out to sales@allmaxsoftware.com or talk to your current account representative, or even reach into support and they can get you in touch with somebody, and we can get a quote together for just knowing how many users that you would like to add to your account. So it's different than seats work in the current Antero, right? This is more of a username based, because that user is going to be in here, and that's going to be how you're going to record all the information and get everything kind of synced up and used. Right now, as far as the way the work orders are showing, it's not by individual user for what you see. It's just all the work orders that are synced to Antero Mobile. That seems easiest for most people's workflow right now. Of course, you can assign, the users here. And as one example, I could then use the list view and sort by specific users that might already be pre-assigned. So that way everyone can kind of see what is out there. If they need to assign a certain user, you can do that. And again, that might just be an individual decision that each plant makes as you kind of figure out what that workflow process looks like. And that is what we are kind of looking at right now. I wasn't sure, are there any questions that we are seeing in the chat that we can take a look at right now? I should say I don't see anything right now, and I do believe we have the chat enabled if there are questions that need to be asked. I do know that we also did send out a form before the webinar and prior to it, and we'll afterwards as well. If you have specific questions, email us and let us know what those questions are. We'd be happy to answer them individually, hop on for kind of an individual personalized Antero Mobile demo. But we are really proud of the work that our development team has done. We're excited to see where this product will develop and grow in the future, and what it means for our customers as a way to really proactively manage the work orders and see everything that get work done faster. And you can also, again, create new work orders here. So I would just hit the add button. I've got a list of my equipment at this point. I can figure out what task I want to send it, and just like in a normal work order, say how many days to complete it. So now I've got a new work order. It assigns it a temporary work order number at this point, M16. And then once I sync that back up into my desktop, it will reassign it a longer term work order number, I suppose, based on what your current naming convention is in Antero. And so it's very easy to do, and it's another nice feature that we wanted to make sure we had in this product as a way to create those additional work orders. If there are no other questions at this point, I really do appreciate the time today. Again, any other questions you have, feel free to reach out. I know a couple of you on here we've talked to in the past, and so I hope that you have those, you got your questions answered that you came looking for today, and look forward to continuing the conversation. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day.